All right, let's do this.
Hey, and welcome to Tara Talks Ryan Listens.
You are listening to Terra Talk and me listen.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of both talking and listening.
But I'm going to listen.
The most?
Sure. Because you generally talk the most anyway.
All right.
And I'm fine with that.
It's a proven fact that women talk more, like actually say more words than men. So I'm okay with that. I don't take that as an insult.
And it's the name of the show is Terra Talks Ryan Listen. So
and people love it. So many people come up to me and think it's hilarious.
To listen.
I love that. Can we get that in the vows?
Yeah. I'll add it because my vows are already written.
Of course they are. You overachiever.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the news. Thank y'all for tuning in or listening again.
Okay, so before we get into, I guess, celebrity news, well, I guess she is a celebrity.
Let's talk about our news with a celebrity.
Yes. So Angie Thomas came to our neck of the woods in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
And it was a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, honestly, the only thing negative that I could even say is just me being greedy, and that's that I wanted a picture with her and an autographed book. I mean, come on.
So honestly, guys, we're spoiled. We're pretty spoiled because a lot of the events that include celebrity appearances and such, somehow we always have VIP tickets, Tara and I.
Yes. And I'm a fan, and so I'm used to that.
I guess we're actually VIPs around here now because, again, we generally always have VIP tickets.
Yeah.
It's gotten to the point where we're so used to it that we intentionally buy VIP tickets when they're not given to us because we've gotten accustomed to a certain standard of entertainment. So I got my tickets first, thinking that, okay, cool, I'll get the tickets early and I have a better seat. That was not the case this time. The event actually got way bigger than somebody around here thought it would be, and they had to move it to a much larger venue. So that turned out to not work in my favor because the tickets ended up just being at will call. You had to be there by a certain time. We got there at that certain time, but there was still a line mixed with people who had tickets ready at will call and the people who were ready to take the will call tickets for people who didn't show up. To me, there should have been two separate lines. So that was strike number one. But again, we're just used to, getting backstage access and VIP access and taking pictures and the meet and greets before the show. So other than that, it was a great event.
Yes. And I mean, let's be real. I didn't have a book for her to sign because I do audio books. I love my Audible, but
I would have bought you a book.
We would have bought a book then.
If I knew there was an opportunity for her to sign it, then I would have bought it for you.
So I'm going to go ahead and say my biggest takeaway from her whole talk was her quote, "The thing you're afraid to do is probably the thing you're supposed to do." And I'm just going to say, I've heard people say something like that before, or maybe even that. But for some reason, it hit home tonight a little bit more. And especially, taking that quote and pairing it with her story and her being relatively young. She's around our age. And
I did not realize that she was literally our age.
Yeah. She's about our age and has this amazing best-selling book. Not only The Hate You Give is a best-selling book, but also her new book On the Come Up is best-selling. They're literally number 1 and number 2 on the bestseller list. And then to have a movie, your book turned into a movie, your first book
turned into a movie.
I mean, and that's like Lauryn Hill's freshman album. I mean, it's just like...
And your first 2 books are New York Times bestsellers simultaneously.
I loved it. And I just really connected with, first of all, before we even continue, if you haven't read The Hate You Give, if you haven't seen it in the movie, if you just don't even know what we're talking about, stop what you're doing right now and read that book, watch the movie.
Pause us. And
Seriously.
Go read the book and then come back.
Seriously, it'll change your life.
Read the book, then watch the movie. And then come back and press play on this. Right. Seriously, it's that good.
The book was probably one of the best books I've ever read. The movie was amazing. They did a great job with it.
It was absolutely the best book I've ever read.
The few things that they changed in the movie just, made sense for the movie to keep it, to tell that story in the way that you can. There's some stories that you can't tell the same way in film that you can in a book. So I'm fine with the few changes they made, but it was just amazing. And then to just, we were in the front row. to be that close to her, and
Always
she was so real.
Row.
You know what I loved? I made a comment and she repeated it back on the mic. It's kind of like with Angela Rye. Like, I was like, oh, she heard me. Like, I just be in the audience saying whatever.
Yeah, you do.
And sometimes people actually hear me and I love it. It's so cool because we were that close and she was that cool, that relatable.
She was so authentic.
She was very authentic.
The region where we live is a lot of white people. We're only about, I think African Americans make up about 8% of the population around here.
Right, if that.
So this auditorium, I'm going to guess and say it was about 300 people. There were probably about 60 African Americans.
Yeah.
And again, we obviously knew most of them. Yeah. Because, we're kind of connected around here. So we obviously knew most of them. And I mean, we knew a lot of the white people too. We know a lot of people around here. But man, it's crazy when you see these types of Black events or events that are centered around Black people or Black culture, and there's so many white people that show up and appreciate it too, which is also great. That that we're not the only ones celebrating these great achievements.
Have the allies,
right? But I don't think she expected to see as many white people as she did. But again, she was still very authentic.
Yeah, she didn't tailor her speech to,
she did not code switch. Exactly. I was just looking around and I'm like, I bet you the white people don't know what that means.
Yeah, which I'm fine with that.
Because a lot of our slang hasn't hit mainstream yet.
Another quote that she said that I really love was, the political is often personal. And I love that quote because a lot of times we're taught, don't talk about religion, sex, and politics. Like, those are taboo topics. You just don't do that. But, obviously the way things have been going in the media lately, politics comes up a lot more now. And then the thing is, the book is about, a young African-American man being shot by a police officer. And so that is very personal. That hits home. And, what she was talking about is very real to me in terms of, like, you see something like that in the news and you think that could be my brother, that could be my nephew, my cousin, my uncle, or that could be me. I mean, with Sandra Bland, and so that's the situation where the political becomes personal. So a lot of times, a lot of people, typically white people, are like, oh, if they have a level of distance from that situation, versus to us, it really hits home, and that's how it gets so emotional. And so that's why I love the book, because she took something that's a highly political topic in terms of, like, saying Black Lives Matter, and made it personal. I mean, you get to know Star, you get to know her family. So I mean, seriously, her dad reminded me of my dad and my uncles. Her mom reminded me of my mom and my aunts. I mean, it was just so real. But on top of that, the Tupac levels of that was personal for me, because my dad was a huge Tupac fan and introduced and exposed me to Tupac at an early and young age. And I just remember thinking, my dad's an adult. He's not supposed to like rap. Like, what is this? Like, not realizing, he could appreciate all types of music and, love Tupac probably before I was even old enough to even think about, like,
you didn't know what was going on. You just heard somebody rapping and everybody was jamming it, and you had no idea what you were listening to at the time.
Exactly. But now that I'm old enough to appreciate that exposure, I really was able to connect with her on that and connect in the book as well as in person. So I really loved that.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I don't want to say show. It was a great event overall. So I definitely enjoyed it. Shout out to Angie Thomas. Angie Thomas, keep doing your thing. In case you ever hear this, we love you. We appreciate you. And we salute you.
Absolutely. And can't wait to read book number 2. It's definitely on my list. And hoping that they turn that into a movie as well.
Right. Yeah. And then she dropped bars.
She did. She killed it.
They introduced her as a rapper who was also an author and an activist through art. So one of the questions so they did the thing where you write the questions on a note card, and then like a moderator or something comes up and reads the questions from the note card. It wasn't like a Q&A session, but she basically dropped some bars that was, I guess, part of the book.
Yeah, and the new book.
She got some bars.
Yeah, I love that. So speaking of Tupac, getting into the mess of the news. So Kodak Black,
wow, here we go.
Whoever that young child is, apparently said he's better than Tupac. And here's what killed me about that whole statement. And, I always say, whatever you do, you should think you're the best at it, and that's great or whatever. But that's a little strange to say you're better than Tupac. And the quote was, actually, I'm better than Tupac because I live what I rap about. He's just a legend because of the fact that he died. I love what I rap about. I live what I rap about. And the thing is, that's just simply not true.
Yeah, that's not at all the case.
He sounded like Jacquees. I mean, does it not?
So here's the deal. In case any of our listeners are not familiar with Kodak Black, he is basically what people nowadays consider a mumble rapper. He was in a Freshman Cypher. If you're familiar with XXL, the magazine, they put out a Freshman Cypher video every year with new up and coming artists who are like kind of hitting the scene right now. I think it was 2013 or 14, and I'm pretty sure it was like the worst XXL Cypher ever. It had 21 Savage, Kodak Black, somebody else who I'm not a fan of their music, quite frankly. Man, who else was in it? They were just all terrible. I was like, is this a parody video? Is it a joke? It took me like 2 weeks to realize that was the actual cypher and not a parody. I couldn't tell if it was a Saturday Night Live skit or a Mad TV skit or something. And I was like, oh wait, this is the real thing.
That's sad.
It was very sad. Now, the bad part is at the time, they were all terrible. It was like one decent rapper in the whole thing. And I don't remember who it was because it was overshadowed by the terrible ones. But at the time, Kodak was like, okay, Kodak was actually the best one out of all of those. It was 21 Savage, Kodak Black, I think Uzi Vert, who I can't understand him at all. But I'll admit I'm a bit older, so that's part of it. But at the same time, it's just like there's a time and a place for it, and it has its own target market, target audience, and all of that kind of stuff. But it's simply not me. And I try to let the young guys have their fun because I mean, hey, like J. Cole said, love to see a black man get paid. But at the same time, you gotta respect the art. Like, my real question is, who is letting these people into the game?
Right.
Who is telling these people that they sound good and putting the music out for people to listen to? I just don't understand it. But Kodak basically decided to say that he was better than Tupac. Kodak, I'm sorry, look, Kodak cannot rap. He simply cannot rap. He has like no flow, no delivery. I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm just saying he doesn't sound good. And if somebody likes it, that's fine. I'm saying it does not sound good. And this is coming from somebody who grew up listening to some of the greatest voices in hip hop ever, in music ever for that matter. But it just doesn't sound good to me. It doesn't sound like anything. He's just saying words and some of them happen to rhyme.
And the thing is, Tupac is not a legend simply because he died.
Tupac was a legend before he died.
Exactly.
Let's keep it real. But Kodak, I wouldn't expect Kodak to know that.
Because he was, what, in Pampers?
Probably.
Let's be real.
Like, dude was probably born in 95, 96.
Right. So I think he's 21.
Yeah, he's very young. I would not expect him to know any of that, quite frankly.
Yeah, so he was probably not born.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, all these young guys who didn't experience... So, okay, let's touch on this point. Tupac did grow up on the East Coast and was in a performing arts high school, like academy style high school or whatever. And some people try to take away his street credit for that. But at the same time, like, Pac was not just some, prep school kid.
Right, exactly.
Tupac's mother was a Black Panther. So Tupac knows the struggle. Tupac is no stranger. Now, granted, a lot of the stuff he rapped about was not directly his life, but he had the ability to tell somebody else's story. And until Kodak Black can tell his own stories that make sense, that are coherent, then I don't want to hear nothing about you comparing yourself to Tupac. Because first of all, Tupac had bars, Tupac had delivery, Tupac had a voice. You have access to somebody's studio and time on your hands. That's it. And I'm not saying like if you enjoy his music, don't enjoy it. I'm not saying that. Because again, it's not for everybody, and I'm one of the people it's not for. And that's perfectly fine.
The point is, don't compare yourself to Tupac.
Don't compare yourself to Tupac.
Just don't even go there. That's just...
It's
childish. Like I said, he's starting to sound like Jacquees.
Right. Hey, y'all, I just want to let y'all know I'm the new King R&B.
It kind of made me wonder if he was trying to pull a Jacquees and get people talking about him.
I mean, people are talking about him because he's about to go to jail, frankly.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. Dude just got out of jail like not even a whole year ago. And it's for some terrible stuff, some stuff that you really just can't appreciate a person for after that. I want to say it was like domestic abuse, beat up some girl or something like that. I don't remember all the charges. I try not to pay attention to these guys, and he's basically going to court, I think, next week. What's today? Yeah. By the time y'all hear this, it's Thursday. He might be in jail Monday.
Oh, so and maybe
then the
he's
whole
trying
situation about him trying to, I don't know what his situation is with Young and May and why he won't leave her alone.
Oh, yeah. That was so weird.
It's ridiculous. Like, how you gonna just sit here and tell a queer person how they're supposed to be living their life? First of all, if it ain't your life, stay out of theirs. Okay, I'm not even finna get into that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The point is he's sounds pretty lame.
Some people just don't know when to shut up.
And that is you know what? That is a good skill.
It's like somebody is letting you rap and make money.
Silence is golden.
Somebody is allowing you to be a rapper and continue to put out songs that sound the same as your last song, which didn't sound like anything else at all anyway. And I'm not saying don't have fun and enjoy yourself and get paid, but be grateful that somebody allowed you to get on the microphone and make music. Like quite frankly, that Bruno Mars and Gucci Mane song, Kodak ruined that. Ruined that. It's like, first of all, why you sound like that? Like, who cares? Okay, so one of the lines that throws me off about that whole song is, he said, "I'm on Adderall. I be smelling high tech when I piss." What is that even supposed? Why? Why did you think that's cool?
Yeah.
Like, what's cool about you taking drugs that are specifically for people who have ADHD or ADD or whatever the case is, and the way it makes your urine smell? Man, you are so cool.
Lyricist.
Talking about your urine.
Dropping bars.
And that's how you get better than Tupac, is to talk about your urine.
Oh my gosh. Also in the news, Jay-Z congratulated Jordan Peele on the success of Us after opening weekend.
I bet he ain't gonna say nothing about Jay-Z, because Jay-Z's still alive and eat him up.
And so the crazy thing is,
Cole already ate up all the young guys at one time, so.
Are you done?
I'm done. I just had to re-say that because yeah.
So the crazy thing about this is the fact that not that Jordan Peele's Us was successful, but the fact that Jay-Z commented on it, because Jay-Z rarely does anything on social media, which I think is hilarious. Because he's like, it seems like he's finally acting his age, and I love it. But
I mean, finally.
I mean, he just is. He's, I don't know. I feel like he's embracing his age a little bit more. I'm not finally, but I'm just noticing certain things, and it seems his age, and I love it. But with that being said, so the film generated $70 million in the U.S. alone, just opening weekend.
Nice. And
I mean, Get Out was amazing. I saw it once in theaters and then once at a friend's house, and don't think I need to see it ever again.
I thoroughly enjoyed that movie, and I could watch it pretty much anytime.
I don't like scary movies. So if you've seen Us, I need you to hit me up on social media and tell me, if you're afraid.
I don't want any spoilers, so nobody talk to me about it yet.
No, don't spoil it, but just I need someone to say, I'm a big scaredy cat. I don't like scary movies, and it wasn't that bad. I enjoyed it. Because here's my thing with scary movies. I don't want to pay someone to scare me. And I know I've had some people say, oh, it's not really scary, it's suspenseful, but isn't that scary? Is it just me? That suspense, that's scary. And then I get all worked up, my blood pressure and my anxiety, I can't handle it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go see it. Do you want to go see it?
Yeah.
Why?
The only reason I haven't seen it yet is because you don't want to go. First of all, it's another movie for the culture. So,
which I'm always a fan of.
Right. And I'm not afraid of scary movies. I can watch, I think it was one or two of the different Saw movies, and there were parts that made everybody jump and scream. And as I saw it in the theater, everybody threw their popcorn in the air because they got so scared. I might have flinched slightly, and it was mostly because I was getting hit by popcorn.
Man.
So I'm not saying I enjoy scary movies, but they don't really scare me.
So are you the type to sit there and be like, man, this is so predictable?
Sometimes, especially when it is predictable, I try not to talk during movies. I don't want to ruin anybody else's experience. But there are times where I was like, okay, definitely saw that coming. Don't go up the stairs. Why would you go up the stairs? There's going to be somebody right there around the corner. Of course, everybody jumps because they didn't predict it like I did. So it's not, I'm not afraid of scary movies, but I'm also not scared of them because they're not scary. I think I jumped more in Get Out than any other horror film that I've ever seen.
Well, Get Out was not, I mean, it was just a different type of.
It was absolutely a different type of horror movie. It was like a philosophical horror movie.
Yeah, it was scary because sense. It was like, wow, that's what it's really like. This could actually happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know if I can go see Us, but please hit me up if you loved it. And if you hate scary movies like I do, I want to know if you enjoyed it as well.
Anybody want to go see it with me?
Yeah, I would not be mad if you want to go see it.
I mean, I'll go see it by myself, but I want to have somebody to talk about it with when it's over.
Yeah.
So holla at me if you want to go.
And I love Lupita, and I love my boy. What's my boy? M'Baku. I want to go see them. Right. Can they do a comedy? Where's my romantic comedy?
What is it?
Come on, Jordan.
What's M'Baku real name? Hold on. This is finna drive me nuts now because I know it.
I know it
asked,
too.
I would have been able to say it.
All I can hear him saying is, "Are you done?
Are you done?"
The Jabari tribe.
Winston Duke.
Winston Duke. How did I?
I knew. It's like I literally was talking about him earlier today.
Yeah.
But since you asked, I couldn't say it.
So
what's your take when that happens?
So, we've got a nice little trail here. We went from Angie Thomas to Tupac to Kodak Black and Tupac to, speaking of rappers, Jay-Z to, speaking of Jay-Z, Blue Ivy. And so, can I just say, next up in adorable news, so if you follow Miss Tina, which is Beyonce's mom, of course, if you follow her on Instagram, like, she always does these corny jokes, and so it's so hilarious because she is such a mom. Like, she's just that typical, like, oh my gosh, if my mom were on Instagram, like, this is how silly and goofy my mom is. And so I love her little corny jokes. Well, the most recent one featured Blue Ivy. Now, obviously, we didn't see her face. She literally put her hand in and waved at us, which was like all we deserve. I'm fine with that. And I love that they're protecting her privacy to an extent. But yeah, so she did the corny joke, and I'm not going to tell it because you just got to go hear it.
It's going to be better coming from her anyway because Tara cannot repeat jokes. I can't
tell jokes, yeah.
Tara cannot tell jokes.
Literally right now, all I can remember is the punchline, and that's how I tell jokes. But the funny thing is, like, it's so adorable the way she tells it, and then she goes, get it? And Miss Tina's like, yeah, I got it. And that's just so cute. Like, kids are so adorable. Yeah, I just had to throw that in there because I thought that was hilarious and super adorable. And I just love Miss Tina's corny joke time because, I mean, it just doesn't get old. With so much drama and stress and like crazy stuff in the news, sometimes you need just something silly to laugh at, right?
Right, yeah. Laughing is a serious, crucial part of mental health. Sometimes you got to laugh, whether it's to keep from crying or just to remind you that some things are funny. Yeah. There's things to laugh about. So
absolutely.
I would highly recommend taking the time to laugh at stuff.
When I was in college, me and my roommates there was this, I can't remember, I don't even know if it's still out there. There was this YouTube video that like taught you how to laugh. Was it the guy that talked like this and said he wanted some waffle fries for free? No, what are you talking about?
Oh, you don't remember that? So it's like one of the first YouTube videos I ever saw. My bad. I'm gonna let you get back to this. But that video resurfaced on Instagram, and it turns out that guy who made that video was from Texarkana.
Of course,
and he went. I think he was one of Sebrin's brother's classmates or something like that. Because he said Levine. He's like, I went to Levine's to go buy some pants. Right? I ain't had no money. I was gonna steal them. And then I met this chick, and we went to Chick-fil-A, someplace in the mall. And he basically said a bunch of Texarkana stuff. I was like, man.
So maybe this was a Texas thing because I was in Virginia at this time. I don't remember that.
You might have been in Virginia, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's a YouTube sensation. Type in waffle fries ... for free and watch it come up. It's a YouTube classic, I promise you.
Anywho, what I was going to say was my roommates and I used to watch this YouTube video that like taught you how to laugh, and it was like literally a full body laugh, and it's so good for you. I need to look that back up.
Yeah, you do be finding weird stuff on YouTube.
It's weird, but it's like, it's legit. Like, it's so good for you. Anyway, laughing is really good for you.
I believe it, just because laughing is really good for you. But how did you find a video on how to laugh? Did you look that up?
Jamaica found it.
Okay, because it sounds like something you would have looked up in the 6th grade, because you didn't laugh at anything in the 6th grade, especially not the 4th grade, because
that's why I have to have a YouTube video, because I'm so serious. I have to force myself to laugh. That's why I like comedies. That's why I don't like scary movies. So
you're my scary movie and my romance comedy.
Whatever. Anywho, next up in not so great news, Jussie Smollett, the charges were dropped. And
I told y'all to wait wait for the actual story to come out. Because, like, why in the world would he make that up? Dude has a job. Dude has several jobs. Dude got hit songs on the radio. Dude got a hit TV show that he's been on for 5 seasons. Why in the world did he need to fake that? Make it make sense, because it's not. His family got money. We've been watching Journey all our lives, basically. We've been watching Journey since she was a kid.
So we haven't talked about...
It ain't like they broke.
So we haven't talked about this on the podcast, because every day it was a new detail that came out, and it was just so confusing. It was hard to tell really what was real and what wasn't. And so we just decided not to mention it. But I'm mentioning it now because the charges were dropped, 16 felony counts dropped. And I'm just going to go on record and say I'm still confused, because I want to know who did it. If he didn't make this up,
because
then who did it? And why was the
actual suspects were still out there?
Yeah, why was all this information released before it was confirmed? And
why were y'all so quick to believe Chicago PD? Does the name Laquan McDonald not ring a bell? Seriously,
it just don't make sense. I mean, none of this makes sense, and I'm still waiting for more details. I don't want to, go into too much detail on it, because that's all that was released. But I mean, we'll have to wait to hear the full story. But it just makes no sense whatsoever. So I guess this is good news. I mean, it's better for the charges to be dropped than for it to come out that he really lied about that. Like, that would be unreal. Like, why would you do that? First of all, as a member of the LGBTQ community, then also as a Black person, like, two intersecting identities that are already marginalized. I don't understand that. So I'm ready for more details.
Yeah, I really want to know what actually happened, which is, again, why I'm just like, first of all, don't believe the police if they're telling you information before the investigation is complete.
That makes no sense.
Why? First of all, why would you release information before the investigation is complete? You're literally tainting the evidence. Whatever evidence you have found has now been tampered with by the media. So the police department coming out and making up all of this stuff about, oh, we think he made it up, so yeah, we're gonna file charges. Did you continue to figure out his actual claim? Because I'm pretty sure the law is still innocent until proven guilty. What happened to due process?
No clue.
What happened to trial?
No clue.
By jury? So that's right. The Constitution doesn't count for Black people. I forgot. Sorry, guys. I think that pretty much wraps it up for me, or at least for this part.
Mercy. So that's all the news I have for this week. I guess switching up to your segment, Obscure News. And I just want to say, I love this segment. And I don't want to steal your segment. I want you to have this, but
I will tell you what, you take the first obscure news.
I do. Yeah. I found one that I came across.
And I'll just do 2 this week.
Yeah. I found one that I thought was hilarious. Apparently this woman knitted herself a suit of plastic grocery bags. And so this suit is hilarious. Like, look at this. Like, that is 300 plastic shopping bags. And
wait, click on it.
Look. Like, how hilariously adorable is that? That she really...
Yo, that looks like an actual... That just looks like clothes.
Yeah.
It don't look like...
Look at that. Like, that's so cool.
Bruh. How, Sway?
300 plastic Wegmans bags. And so, like, look at the detail. It's intricate detail, too. Like,
oh, wow.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
So I can tell you right now, we probably have 300 plastic Walmart bags in our laundry room right now.
Probably more than that. Because, you know, at least all black families got at least a whole stash, a whole Walmart bag full of other Walmart bags. Some people got a whole drawer. Some people got a whole cabinet. Some people got a box full of other Walmart bags. And we're no exception. I'm sure a lot of families do this too, but specifically black families do it.
Yeah. I mean, you always need one.
Right,
you always need one for something.
Some of us use it for trash bags. Some of us use it for toiletries when we travel. Some people use it to put shoes in. Some people use it for it has the possibilities are endless.
Absolutely. And so
you can't blame those being in the ocean on black people. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, or on this lady, because she said, you know what, I have time.
She does.
She made herself a whole suit and a matching bag. That's the purse. Look at this.
Wow, I didn't even see the purse.
Yes.
So she got a whole sweater made out of grocery bags, a matching skirt made out of grocery bags. I didn't even see the purse.
And the purse. That is like...
It's literally braided, like the strands of bag are braided into items. Like
That's how you do sustainability.
How old is she? What, 80?
I think she's like 75.
Oh, yeah, she got time.
Yeah, she probably retired and just at home chilling. Like, you know what?
It's probably loud, though.
It's probably loud and it's probably crunchy.
And crunchy.
Like, that would probably be uncomfortable. Like, imagine sitting in that.
You couldn't sneak nowhere in that.
You would hear her coming.
You'd hear her coming half a block away.
So, you know what?
And I bet you it's hot, too.
It probably is hot. Her bag reminds me of this. So, when I was in high school, my mom had this coworker who made purses out of Capri Suns. And so my mom got me one, and, you know, I was into pink at the time. So it was pink lemonade Capri Suns, basically.
Wait, don't you still have that?
I gave it to my niece. Now that she's in that little adorable preteen phase, I gave it to her. And so that was like a cool thing, because I was like, it's just collecting dust in my closet, or I could give it to her. But you know what? In a few years, I'm going to be mad I don't still have it.
Just tell her to take care of it and give it back when she turns too old for it. And then you'll still have
like,
it.
Look, don't throw that away.
Give it to our daughter one day.
Right.
When we have a daughter.
Or sell it on eBay. But
or that, yeah.
Like, it actually smelled like pink lemonade at first. That's the hilarious part. But yeah, I mean, of course, that smell eventually went away. But I thought I was too cute with my little pink lemonade bag.
You was kind of cute.
I mean, I was. But so the thing is, I love that this woman was resourceful. But that's my obscure news for the week. And I wasn't trying to steal that from you, but I just came across that and thought it was hilarious.
You're not gonna steal it from
me. What you got?
I've got a man who was ordered not to drink Pepsi for 4 years while on probation.
What?
Right. That's what I'm trying to figure out. The defendant will not be able to drink Pepsi for 4 years, according to a judge's ruling. How? Okay, let's find the details here. Hawaii? You normally don't hear stories like this coming out of Hawaii. That's true. Weird. Hawaii seems like they be chilling. You know, they're so disconnected from the rest of the country.
Quite literally.
So, Judge Rhonda Liu imposed the restriction last week while sentencing 21-year-old Christopher Montiliano Jr. I think that's his name. Lied to police when he was arrested with a car. Apparently, he stole a car and was arrested. Told the officers that his cousin allowed him to drive the car to the store to get soda. Mm-hmm. I guess once they realized that he stole it, he got arrested and went to jail for 7 days. And I think he got out of jail and went to court saying, I'm not going to steal cars anymore. I don't want to be in jail no more. And the judge sentenced him to 100 hours of community service, a $100 fine, and 4 years of probation, during which time he's not allowed to drink Pepsi.
Okay, so this is just a case of a judge getting creative with the sentencing.
It's a case of Pepsi.
A case of Pepsi. Aww.
It's a case of Pepsi restriction.
So I feel like that would be hard to enforce.
I do appreciate, like you said earlier, I do appreciate the fact that the judge is trying to get creative. But this, how do you enforce that? Yeah,
like, so if he's at home drinking Pepsi and is somebody just going to be at his house like, nope, you can't have that.
But it's not Pepsi, it's Coke.
Yeah, so can he have Sprite?
Can he have orange soda?
Can he have Dr. Pepper?
Can he have a cream soda?
What about RC Cola?
What about RC Cola?
What about Sam's Cola? Like, what if it's just some off-brand? Yeah, Sam's Choice, some off-brand, whatever. And that's the thing, like, again.
What about Mountain Dew?
Right. That's a very unique punishment, which I'm all for creative punishment. I think more judges should do that. But it is bizarre that it's one that you can't really enforce, in my opinion, at least. I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, because criminals will find a way around stuff.
Yeah, criminals are creative.
Yeah. I don't really understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, there was an episode of King of the Hill where somebody tried to steal Hank's truck, and Hank basically took the guy down himself, and citizens arrested him until the cops got there. And the police kept Hank's truck for evidence. They took apart his entire truck, basically saying they were searching it for drugs. So Hank had to put his whole truck back together. And the judge in this case, granted this is a cartoon, but the judge in this case made the guy live in a truck for some extended amount of time. He's like, you like stealing trucks? All right, well, I'm going to send you to live in a truck.
Okay, see, that I can see. Yeah. But I don't understand you want to go get some soda? Okay, don't drink no more soda for 4 years. Like, that's a little bit
I think I would have done something along the lines of putting him in the car for an extended amount of time.
I don't know.
Since he stole a car. Okay, if you want to steal cars so much, why don't you live in this car?
So, question.
Answer.
If a judge were sentencing me to not be able to drink my beverage of choice or favorite beverage for 4 years, which beverage do you think it would be?
So there's two choices in my head right now. I'm going to say wine.
Really?
Really?
You think so?
You
think wine is my favorite
I don't
drink?
think wine is your favorite beverage, but it would be the more harsh punishment.
Okay, I can see that.
In this case, if somebody were to sentence me to not drink my favorite beverage, I would die of dehydration because water is my favorite beverage. In your case, however, you would be extremely sleepy and unproductive at work. Yeah. Because you would be sentenced to not drink coffee.
Yeah.
But I feel like not drinking wine at the end of a long day would be the harsher punishment.
That's true.
And not having wine with dinner or brunch.
A toss-up.
Or while you're watching Sex in the City.
Coffee and wine, yeah.
Because if you get through a hard day with all the coffee you want but can't unwind at the end with a glass of red, then yeah, don't know how you're gonna make it.
I mean, it's tough either way. But yeah, that's a weird punishment. So
it is. I'm in favor of weird punishments, especially when you can avoid sending people to jail, because jail doesn't rehabilitate people the way it should. It's not
always the answer.
The United States prison system is
very flawed.
It's so very flawed. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't understand how that's going to be enforced, but good luck to everyone involved in that.
Cool. Was that your last one?
You know, I had another one, but due to technical difficulties, I'm going to save it for next week.
Okay, cool. So with that being said, you all know that we did the Daniel's fast for the last few weeks. It is now over. So how do you think it went? What did you learn? What do you miss most? What are you looking forward to eating most?
All right, so I'll admit I could have done better. I was actually very disappointed in my performance. My head wasn't in the game. It's like an NBA post interview. Right. But I could have done a lot better. I actually had to start over twice actually, but I do feel better. It did definitely help. I did not do the juice for an entire 21 days. I barely did it for 3. I did eat a lot of vegetables instead of just juicing. And there were times where I was kind of, not in a position to fully participate in the restrictions or parameters rather, that I applied for myself. It definitely helped. I was able to focus more on God the way I should have. If nothing else, it reminded me to say grace before I did eat. So I feel like the older I get, I sometimes just forget to actually say grace. If we're not like in a formal setting, like if we're having dinner together, then yeah, I'll probably remember, or you'll remember. But if I'm just grabbing food during my lunch break or something, I'm usually not even thinking about it. But you know what I will say?
What?
One time when I was 14, I said, "Dear Lord, thank you for all the food that I'm eating now, all the food I've eaten in the past, and all the food I'm going to eat in the future. In the name of Jesus, I pray, amen." So I feel like I'm covered for like the rest of forever. I'm sure that's not actually how it works, but I bet you God heard it.
If that
I bet you God heard it though.
Prayer covered you for all your meals.
I bet you God heard it though.
Oh wow!
Don't get me wrong. This does not mean that I haven't said grace since I was 14. I'm not saying that, but no, seriously though, it did kind of bring my focus back to where it needed to be. Obviously, in life, we get busy and we get distracted, and we often forget about things that are important. So it was also a really good reset for my body physically and chemically, I guess. I was able to detox quite a bit, and I feel a lot better. I feel like a lot of toxins are out of my body at this point. I slept a little bit better. There was times where I was sleeping a lot better just because I wasn't, I didn't go to bed with a stomach ache from eating whatever, and wasn't waking up in the middle of the night and not able to fall back asleep. My skin was feeling great. That really helps. It really is really, really good for your skin to do, detoxes like that. A lot of the food we eat with refined sugar and grease and oil and fat will tear up your skin in no time. So those are things that I absolutely appreciate about doing these types of fasts and things like that. And it also just makes you kind of get back in the habit of eating healthier. So again, it wasn't my best performance. I am going to keep, continue to eating healthy or whatever, but I could have done better. But I do think it served its purpose even in my flawed effort. What about you? How did you feel about it?
So I thought it went well, aside from our pauses for various reasons, but it really helped me to realize or maybe even remember things that I think I can't live without, that I actually can live without them. And so, for instance, coffee. We mentioned how much I love coffee, and there's a new coffee shop that opened up like on the way to my job, and so I was stopping there almost every day. And literally at the end of the month, I looked at how much money I spent on coffee, and it was just like, this is a problem.
Through the roof.
This is a problem. And so it's just, whereas before I was drinking at least a cup of coffee a day, sometimes 2 or 3 cups. And now it's like, wow, I made it 3 weeks without coffee, like literally without it. And so even though I'm glad that it's over, mostly just because when I'm out at events and stuff, I don't have to think about it as much, but I am still gonna keep some of the things like my kale smoothies, and maybe every now and then I will do a tofu something instead of meat. So it just reminded me that I can have a absolutely filling meal and it be meatless, and I live. And it's not the end of the world. That I can make it a day without coffee, that I can make it. And also, like I said last week, was able to complete a few of my devotion plans consecutively. So, like I said, I've had devotions I've done off and on here and there over the years, but this was my first time being like, okay, make it a consistent thing. So that was really good. Or at least first time in a while, I'll say. So, like I said, I want to implement these healthy practices into just life and not make it like okay, it's over, let me go eat some garbage from now on, but really kind of make it more of a 80-20 rule or 90-10 rule, and make it more a part of my daily life.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's ultimately what it's all about, is a healthier life in general. So, I believe that wraps it up for everything other than the questions, the listener letters. Do we have any listener letters this week?
Yeah, we do.
Because this is my favorite part of the show.
We do. It's my favorite too. So with that being said, email us at askttrl@gmail.com. That's askttrl@gmail.com. Ask us anything. Again,
TTRL stands for Tara Talks, Ryan Listens.
Yes. And so just shoot us an email, anything on your mind, something random you want to throw at us, or a real big dilemma that you're going through. Definitely, we'd be happy to help you the best we can through that. So our first question is from, give me a fake name for a male.
For a male. Daquaviandre.
All right, so from Daquaviandre, he said,
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I got this.
I didn't think he was gonna do that.
Mm-hmm. He said, talk about your strange food cravings or pairings. For example, hot sauce and popcorn, or pickles and Jolly Ranchers.
Does Daquaviandre think we're pregnant?
No, but don't you have things that you like to eat that other people would be like, ugh?
Okay, yeah, I can definitely do this. I could go for days.
I know, that's what I was like. I know you ain't talking.
All right, so I like to make ramen noodles and add peanut butter.
Yeah.
First of all, let me explain how it works. You make ramen noodles the same way you normally would. You add the little sauce packet. In most cases, I do this with the soy sauce flavor. The top ramen brand, the blue packet. I use that. That's really the only one I eat because it's vegetarian. Well, technically vegan, but it's considered vegetarian, and that's what I ate when I was vegan a lot. So I didn't have to let go of noodles when I was vegan, so it worked out nicely. So honestly, that's like the best one to me. That's my favorite one. So it's normally the only one I eat. So you basically cook it like you normally would. Then you add about a spoonful of peanut butter. You have to drain most of the water out first, and then let the peanut butter kind of melt in the hot water, and it basically gives it the flavor of an actual Korean, not necessarily Korean, but some sort of Asian cuisine, because most Asian cuisine restaurants, they cook their food in Asian cuisine in general. The food is cooked in peanut oil, where in America, we just use cooked canola oil or vegetable oil or whatever. So the fact that you're using peanuts, the peanut butter, it kind of gives it that authentic flavor and a little bit of a texture as well. You add a little bit of soy sauce and sriracha to it, and it's a really good flavor pairing, or not pairing, but mixture. And
flavor profile.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. That's why you're here. That's why we work so well, because you can come up with the words that I'm missing.
Got you.
And that's going in my vows too. But yeah. So the peanut butter ramen, people look at me all kinds of crazy when I say I do that. When I do it in front of people, like, oh my gosh, you're not really gonna eat that, are you? I'm like, yes, I'm gonna eat like 3 of these. And then they taste it, and I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. It works. I'm trying to say I know what I'm talking about. And to be completely honest, I found this on Martha Stewart's website. It was this white kid and his mom. The mom was like, does your kids like to eat ramen noodles, but it gets a little boring after a while? Spice it up with some peanut butter, some soy sauce, sriracha, and green onions, or scallions as they call them. But still, you basically do that, mix all of that together, make the noodles like you normally would, add a little bit of peanut butter, throw some sriracha in there, throw some soy sauce in it, and garnish it with scallions or chives or green onions, whatever you want to call them. And it's really good. But I also like to take it a step further and stir fry it. Just throw it in the pan and, just let the noodles get a little crispy. Not really crispy, but like a little bit, kind of dark brown, like stir fry. If I'm feeling real creative, I'll throw vegetables in it too.
This ain't no cooking show?
It's not, but that's one of the weird things. I'm answering the question.
Yeah, but you're going in detail. So I don't eat weird stuff. So the only thing I can think of is at the movie theater, I put M&Ms in my popcorn.
That's not weird at all. They actually recommend you do that.
It's so good.
Man, what else do you do? Oh, nah. Here's what you do though.
What?
You have to have something crunchy with every meal.
Yeah.
Which often results in you eating pizza.
Tortilla chips.
With tortilla chips.
Yeah. Or any chips.
Really any chips, but pizza and chips is weird to me.
I grew up eating pizza and chips. You didn't grow up eating pizza and chips?
No, I grew up eating pizza.
By itself?
Yes. You order pizza, you eat pizza. The chips are for another day. See, we ain't have it like that. I'm gonna
have to ask my mom about that. I feel like I grew up eating pizza and chips.
Like the only time you had pizza and chips was at a party. Unless somebody's birthday party or something like that.
Interesting.
Otherwise, if we order pizza for dinner, we ate pizza.
I'm so spoiled. It's not just pizza though. Like almost every meal, I do have to have something crunchy. Especially specific. I'm really big on textures and specific things. I definitely have to be like, I know this is weird, but I need to grab a few tortilla chips. But for the most part, I pretty much eat things as they are allegedly supposed to be. I can't think of any other weird pairings. Can you?
What else do I do that's weird? Because I do a lot. I will admit,
you do.
I eat a lot of stuff that normal people think, or not normal people, but
most people
will find either repulsive or extremely weird and ask me if I'm okay.
Yeah, but the peanut butter one is the only one I can think of offhand.
Yeah. Man, I know there's at least like 7 more. I can't think of anything else. If I think of another one, we can make a segment out of it next week.
Okay. All right, moving on to the next question. So,
appreciate it, Doc Quaviandre, for the question.
Yes, thank you, Doc Quaviandre. So, our next question is from Rochelle, and she said, please preach on the need to flip tables. So, this is actually one of our friends in real life, and I changed her name to protect her identity. But basically we were like at a happy hour not too long ago, and I was just saying how sometimes you gotta flip tables like Jesus did. Matthew 21:12.
Overturn the tables.
He overturned the tables of the money changers. He got so mad. He was like, you know what? Forget this, and flipped the table. And I just love that. Like, do you ever read parts of the Bible and be like, whoa, okay. Jesus was like, first of all, he plays some people, and I love it. It's like, oh, pick up your face because you just got played. And I love some instances where he gets upset because it makes me feel better. Like, you know what? Sometimes you're gonna get upset. Like, that's just life. And so sometimes people do stuff that don't make no sense, and you gotta flip that table. Have you ever had that experience where you're like, you know what? I just gotta flip this table like Jesus did.
There have been times where I flipped tables and then cleaned up before you got home. So trust me.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying like that you gotta have a terrible temper all the time, but
there's a cathartic release.
There is a cathartic release, and there are some times where people push you to that limit where you're just like, okay, this is ridiculous.
There's only so much cheek turning you can do,
right?
Before you go upside somebody else's cheek. Anybody
with a seminary background, don't judge us, or I guess you can if you want to. But I know we don't have degrees in seminary
or theology.
But sometimes I read the Bible and I'm like, you know what? That's relatable. And that was one of my moments. So I could probably preach a whole sermon on it, but I'm just going to say sometimes you have to flip the tables.
Yeah. What was I there at this situation when this situation brought up?
No, you had a photo shoot.
Oh, okay. Because the song I think I've referenced this song in a previous episode, where Big Crit put out one of his instrumentals and said everybody make a remix to it. I really wasn't trying to win the contest that he was participating in, but I had written a song that was basically me flipping tables over with words, and I recorded it to that beat. And then I thought you brought this up because of that song, and I was like, wait, I did say that in the song, where I basically said I'm about to go and flip tables over and punch the walls with my fist. So like I mentioned, it is a cathartic release. Sometimes you got to flip the tables over in for the sake of not hitting somebody, or breaking something else, like, or crashing your car into somebody else. So there's times when the world gets to you. Like I said, there's only so much cheek turning you can do before you have to take it out, before you hurt yourself trying to ignore things. So absolutely, again, mental health is a very important issue, especially in the Black community, because we don't talk about it enough. So absolutely flip some tables over when you need to. Make sure there's nobody in front of the table when you do it.
Right. Yeah, this is more of either metaphorical or just to blow some steam off.
Right.
Not injuring anyone, obviously.
Or yourself. So be careful in the process.
All right. Our next and I'm going to say last question for this week is from Kyle.
Hello, Kyle.
And Kyle wants us to speak about weddings now versus weddings back in the day. And I'm taking back in the day to mean 90s, but you can take it however you want to. Traditions that we used to do versus traditions we do today. Ones you wish to bring back versus ones that can just stay in the past. So I like this question. This is a good one, especially since we're like in the midst of planning a wedding now. We have to think about what parts of the ceremony or of the reception do we want to do. There's so many different ways to do things. Like, you could really add in a million things and make it super long, or you could cut everything and make it super simple. There's some stuff that you feel obligated to do that you just really don't have to do. Like, it's not that serious. Like, and so I'm gonna say my first one is one that we used to do back in the day. So I know people still do a unity candle, but back in the day, it used to be, I don't know what you call it, but it was like a whole candelabra on each side. Do you remember that at old weddings?
They look like giant, differently shaped menorahs.
Yeah.
Those things?
Yes. And I can't remember what they were called, but literally.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You had like a whole row on each side of like candles, and then the unity candle on top of that.
Yeah, so I remember those. The thing is, people always had the damnedest time trying to light them and then keep them lit.
Yes.
And it was never a fluent motion where you light this one and light this one. You're using a candle to light them because it's obvious you wouldn't go out there with a lighter. It looks tacky when you do it. They would always blow out. There would always be looking weird at the end of the ceremony because they melted to different heights. And now
it took up too much time.
It took up way too much time.
So I'm going to say we could leave that one in the past.
Absolutely.
I'm okay with the Unity candle.
The one specific one?
Just the one, but all the extra candles, no thank you.
But
the
also
Unity
metaphorically does... Okay, go ahead. You explain that to me because I have a thing. Go ahead.
Well, the whole, I mean, nowadays, a more modern wedding, when I was growing up, all you had was Unity candle. More modern weddings, you see people do some type of Unity something. So whether it's the Unity candle or the sand pouring, or I've seen someone do like a cross that has 3 different parts that form into one, or I've seen people do there's several
2 different colors sand in the jars.
That's what I just said. The sand pouring is 2 different colors sand. And you pour it into one jar.
I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't listening because you kind of cute. And
the name of the show is Tara Talks Ryan Listens,
and I was not listening.
That requires you to listen.
I'm supposed to listen.
The other thing that I've seen people do is thank you. The other thing I've seen people do is they do like some type of knot binding. So like they literally tie the knot. So and I mean, I get the idea of the whole point of a marriage and wedding ceremony is to become one. So you want to have something in that ceremony to resemble that, but I don't know if it has to be the Unity candle.
Here's my concern with the Unity candle. Isn't it supposed to represent the flame supposed to represent your love for one another or something like that? And don't you have to put the candle out at the end of the ceremony, or doesn't it blow out on its own, or doesn't it eventually melt?
So it's
as opposed to the sand, you're never going to separate the 2 colors of sand ever again because it would take probably 100 years to pick out each grain of sand, and nobody has time for that. Or the knot thing, you're pretty much not going to be able to untie that because it's a certain type of stuff certain type of material that you're tying a knot with. Or the cross thing, they basically put it together and then weld it shut or screw it to the point where you can't undo it. But this candle goes out.
So here's the thing. The point of the Unity candle is not like that we have this eternal flame that never goes out. It's really more of a symbolic gesture of 2 individuals becoming one. And so the one candle, the other candle, and then they light the one in the middle. So it blowing out is not a big deal. I like your point about the sand is eternal. The sand and then also the cross, those are like cool decorative things you can put back in your house. And so it's not just like some old candle sitting up collecting dust. So I don't know. I mean, I'm still on the fence about that one. But moving on to other things from our childhood. Okay, I'm gonna say typical 90s wedding reception. I'm automatically thinking matchbooks and napkins with the name and date.
So basically, you want to put napkins with a name and date on the table for me to wipe my fingers with?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you're serious? You actually want to do that?
I do. I love the napkins. I like, here's my thing. I want to do some modern stuff and be like, oh, some stuff is of the past and I don't care. But I like the napkins. I've looked and I've seen like modern versions of it and it looks kind of cool. And I'm okay with it being like, this is just going to get your drink sweat, or this is going to be your hands, just getting your little crumbs off your fingers. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Now, obviously, the matches don't make sense anymore because people don't really use matches anymore.
Right.
But
I mean, what is this, a strip club?
Oh, yeah. I mean, literally all around our house, we had matches that were from people's weddings. Yeah.
I'm trying to think who gave out matchbooks.
I mean, a lot of people
I've never been to a strip club, but I always see matchbooks with strip club logos on them.
Yeah.
Or I used to.
I'm trying to think of another.
Old cats in the neighborhood, you just have a matchbook with a strip club logo.
Oh my goodness. What's another old school wedding thing?
Oh, when the bride walked down the aisle 2-stepping a little bit, doing a little side step. Yeah, you're not doing that. You're just gonna walk. Like the after church thing when you go back at 4:00 for the special program, and then the choir does the little march in where they like it'd be like one line and then they like step to each different side and they just keep crossing each other's side. And then I've seen brides do that.
I mean, here's the thing.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna do the corny version, but you're not just gonna walk all normal like you walking down the street. It's your wedding day. You've got to step and pause for dramatic effect. Step and pause. I mean, it's elegant.
Okay, do classy. That, but don't do the look like what Chardonnay did when she tried to marry Jason in the game.
Right. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
But I mean, you have to live in your moment. Ain't nobody gonna outstep me. And I'm gonna tell you, my mama said she walking down like Naomi Campbell. So, I'm gonna have to get my ish together. So, it's my day. Y'all gonna pause and wait for dramatic effect. So another thing from like back in the day weddings that I want to keep, and you probably gonna argue with me on this.
I'm ready.
Line dances. So obviously we're not going to step in the name of love.
I had some terrible fear that you were going to do some sort of novelty dance. We
don't have to do every single cha-cha slide.
That was an inside joke from our favorite movie.
I want to do like a, what's the one you got to do? You got to do a electric slide.
Here's the deal. As much as I agree that that's a bit corny.
It's very corny.
But it's also very black.
It's so black. And it's just a beautiful, like...
It's ours.
First of all, the song... Dun, 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 dun. It's like Candy. So Candy was my nickname growing up. I mean, that's my song. We got to do it. I mean, from The Best Man, like The Best Man movie's playing in my head.
I need to get the video camera back.
That just... What about the video camera?
I need to get a bit because we was kind of getting it right there.
Oh, you want people to see us dancing? No,
yes,
thank you.
I want people to see how goofy we are in real life, like while we're doing this episode.
So
now, I'm fine with that.
One.
I'm fine with that.
We don't have to do electric slide, then cha-cha slide, and then wobble, and then bunny hop,
all of them.
and then we don't have to do all 10 in a row.
Not in a row,
but one or two. I think it's
one
needed.
at a time. Give people a break. And then come back and then do like a lot more. The
beauty of line dances is it's a fun way to get almost everybody on the dance floor. Like, because if you're a shy dancer, you still can follow along with that. Even like, no shade, but white people with no rhythm can do the electric slide. Like,
and yeah, it makes it pretty easy for everyone to get involved, and I'm absolutely fine with that.
I want people to have fun at our wedding.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I probably won't be sober enough to care that we're doing it.
You better be sober enough to be present.
But I'm going to be sober enough during the ceremony, but then at the reception, I'm going to be celebrating. Okay.
Okay, I can live with that.
Yeah.
And so the another tradition that I think we can just perhaps leave in the past is when I was growing up, and I don't know if you agree, but when I was growing up, all of the weddings were like 2 hours long.
Oh my, how?
So it was like, okay, you got, first of all, all this candle lighting takes forever. Then
True.
You got a song. Then you got not just the song. Then you got to sing the Lord's Prayer. Then you got to read an Old Testament scripture, then a New Testament scripture. And then you had to pray. And then you had like a first set of vows. And then you had a second set of vows. And then you had to kneel at the altar and pray, just the bride and groom. And then you had to take communion.
And then the preacher preached.
Yeah.
I've seen preachers preach at weddings.
At a wedding.
I'm like, bro, I thought this was a wedding. I didn't know we was at church.
Then you got an interpretive dance.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, it really was an hour and a half, 2 hours back in the day. Now, here's the thing. Now, I like a little bit of the substance. I don't want a quickie wedding, get in and get out. Because we spending this money. I want an actual program. But we ain't got to have all of that.
Okay, I'm cool with that, too.
I want it to be...
I would actually fight you if you tried to make it long.
Yeah, I want it to be a decent, substantial amount of time, but not feel long. But yeah, we ain't got to have all of that.
Yeah. I really can't think of anything else.
Okay.
That
was fun. You
covered everything that I was going to say, honestly. Yeah. The candle thing and then the super long service thing. The line dance thing, I can take or leave, but frankly, I'm going to want to turn up, and it's going to have to happen.
Happening.
It's going to be required to get everybody off the floor because, people not going to try to dance. People going to be trying not to dance, so.
One thing, I just want to add one last thing that we can leave in the past. This is probably going to be rude.
Go for it.
Men wearing, like, corny, baggy suits.
Oh, my. Yeah, no.
Especially, like, all white. Like, there's a way to do all white well.
I was thinking all white, too. So my mom's first marriage, her husband wore all white suit. I remember his pants being baggy, and he was like a muscular, fit guy. His pants were baggy. He looked like either somewhere a cross between a Baptist preacher and a pimp.
Yeah.
Shoes were white too. White shoes.
Get your suit tailored.
Had on some patent leather white shoes too. He was fresh for it to have been 1990 something.
Yeah, for that time. But nowadays, there are better suit options.
Get tailored.
Yes.
Get tailored, because this is not the late 80s or the early 90s. The big baggy suits are a thing of the past. All of my groomsmen gonna be tailored. I'm gonna be tailored. If you come to my wedding, you better be dressed sharp. We're not gonna not let you in, but we might clown you. I'm just gonna be honest.
I ain't gonna be thinking about nobody.
We love you, but we will talk about how baggy your suit pants were.
Alrighty. So again, thanks for sending us those letters, guys. And you can continue to send us questions to askttrl@gmail.com.
Oh, I got a new tradition real quick.
Yeah.
Me and all my groomsmen are gonna be wearing LFLS shoes.
Okay.
LFLS, Like Father Like Son shoes, is a black-owned high-end men's and women's dress shoe line. I highly recommend you check it out. LFLSshoes.com. LFLSshoes.com. So that's one of the traditions that we're gonna try to start, is all black everything, and I'm talking all black vendors, black photographer, black DJ, wearing black designers. So that's a tradition I'd like to start. Support black business.
Yes, and that was not sponsored. But
not sponsored at all, but shout out to Eric
LFLS.
Jones, aka the Dr. Dapper on Instagram, LFLS Shoes on Instagram. If you haven't heard about LFLS Shoes, step your game up. That's the easiest way to put it.
All right, so let's wrap up.
We've been here for a while.
Way over. Let's wrap it up with our quick tip or our love life advice of the week. And so mine is simply to take a quick trip. And so we just recently went on just like a little quick long weekend getaway, and it's just so refreshing just to get out of your head, out of your mind, out of your day-to-day routine, and just like go explore a new city, try new restaurants, and just have fun together. So I would definitely recommend that. It doesn't have to be a super expensive vacation that takes a lot of planning. It could literally be something quick and impromptu.
The only thing I would like to add to that is be open to taking these short trips and trying new things. Because spontaneity is the spice of life, variety is also the spice of life.
Indeed.
Life has a lot of spice. So enjoy it. Definitely don't just sit around and, get stuck in a routine and not experience life. Don't just work every week and go to the same bar and club every weekend and repeat, because life's going to pass you by like that. Get out, travel, especially if you have someone to do it with. You're going to enjoy it and bring the two of you closer. You have more experiences to share and stories to retell later on down the line. And you're just creating memories, and creating memories together makes you a lot closer. So highly recommend doing that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that covered. I had something else to say, but I forgot it. So
cool. So again, thank you all for listening, and thanks for all the great feedback. Continue to share that and share the podcast with someone who you think you might enjoy it. Remember to follow us at This Is TTRL on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow us individually at The Rye C on Instagram and Twitter. That's THERY_C.
And I am TCAR_examiner on Twitter and Insta.
Cool. All right. Well, with that said, appreciate y'all for listening. Catch us next week, same day, not necessarily time, but same Thursday, same place. All of your favorite podcast streaming.
Okay, so Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify, and YouTube. Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, we'll catch you next week. This is TTRL. Peace.
Have a great week.